All right, these are tools and apps that I use as a DP. Let's just jump in. So the first one is Frameset. This is not sponsored. Frameset is basically a massive online database of different frames and references from a multitude of commercials, music videos, films, all on one website. It's a fantastic tool for assembling mood boards and visual references for projects. I use it on almost every project. It has a really good system for filtering to find the exact references that you need. It also has a tool where let's say you have one frame that is really close to what you want, and you just want to find other frames that look like that or have the same type of feel and vibe. You can upload that to Frameset and tell it, I'm searching for this, but make sure it looks close to this frame that I'm feeding you, and it'll show you that. And it does a really good job of that. You can even create a quick little mobile app on your phone with Frameset, even though it's technically not designed for mobile. It's just a great product overall. I use it on every project. Next is a piece of software called Eagle. Basically speaking, Eagle is an incredible reference and asset manager. It allows you to clip images, GIFs, videos, even 3D models if you ever want to do that from the internet, directly from a web page, and save it locally. Or you could even take your local database and save it to a cloud service of your choice so it syncs across multiple devices. So, Google Drive, Dropbox, whatever you want. And the coolest part of it all is that it's not a fucking subscription fee, which everyone and their mom charges. It's $30 once and you own it. It's amazing. So in addition to being able to pull things off the internet and store them locally for references for future projects, it has an extremely powerful organizational engine. So you can filter by color palette, you can add tags to images, you can put them in folders, just a multitude of different ways to organize and cull through these references as you kind of build up your own database. I use it for every project that I need references for. I'll pull them off the internet and store them within Eagle. So I'll pull from Frameset, store them in Eagle and organize them. And the coolest part is over time, over several projects throughout a year, 2 years, 3 years, you end up building this just personal kind of reference database that you can use for other projects. So that ends up being really powerful. I think it's really nice to have. Next, we have Obsidian. And Obsidian is a beast of a tool. It's a free writing and note-taking tool, which is what I think it was meant for, but it can be used as your second brain. So to simplify what makes Obsidian different from any other note-taking app is to put it this way. So, if you go on Wikipedia on one article that you specifically searched for, and as you're reading the Wikipedia article, there's relevant topics to what you're reading that are highlighted that take you to another Wikipedia article, which in that article, there might be 50 more links to other relevant things. So it just branches off into like thousands of different articles that, you start at one place and you end at the other. And they also call backwards to each other as well. That's what Obsidian is, but you get to create that for yourself. So how does it relate to cinematography? Well, if you're new into cinematography, or even if you're a seasoned DP, and you pick things up over time, new tricks, things from gaffers, things from an AC, or techniques, just things as you continue to learn. You can put them into Obsidian and create your own personal Wikipedia database of your own techniques, tips, and tricks. So for example, I can create one page called Low Light Techniques. And let's just say, for example, this is going to house all of my techniques for making sure if I'm shooting in low light, I'm going to have a clean image. So within that low light technique note, I can create a link to a new note that has one technique, and then another link to a note that has another technique. And within these notes, I can mention other things that I might call to, or that I might want to know or write more about. So you end up kind of creating this web and branch of information. So over time, as you input things, it can get pretty big pretty fast. And it's basically your second brain of cinematography and filmmaking knowledge that you can call upon later. So for example, you can be on set and be in a pinch and, have a problem. You can do a quick search in your Obsidian vault or your database and find something from a year ago that you wrote down because you thought it might be useful one day, and use it. And then within that article that you wrote down, it might link to other things that are useful for that project. So it's pretty cool in that sense. It also has a cool graph feature where it'll visualize how all your notes connect, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's not super useful, but it's cool to see. And then they also have an infinite canvas type feature, which if you want to use it, you can. It's pretty cool. Next is a program called Set.A.Light 3D. And basically Set.A.Light is previs software, 3D previs software. It allows you to quickly draft up 3D previs for your projects. It has both strobe and continuous lighting, so it's useful for photographers as well. And you can match your camera settings in the app directly to what you would do in real life. So you have complete aperture control, ISO, shutter angle, shutter speed, white balance. You have multiple aspect ratios, anamorphic lenses. You have that all within the software so that whenever you are creating your previs, you can be confident that the lighting and exposure that you set in the software will match whatever you're shooting in real life with whatever lens set you have, with whatever T-stops you have to work with. And if you want to see how closely you can actually get from the previs to what you would shoot in real life with the same setup, you can look on their Instagram, which has tons of examples of photographers making their idea in the software and then executing it, and it looks incredible, to be honest. I did this actually on one of my most recent projects. It was shot on a cyc, and we had some really cool lighting looks, and we weren't really sure how it was all going to pan out. So we had a really quick turnaround between when the project was initiated and when we had to shoot. So I went into this software, Set.A.Light, and auditioned a ton of different looks, and it ended up being honestly indisposable to the project. I felt way more prepared going into that project, having had those auditioned within the software, than if I had approached the project without doing that. So we actually ended up changing some things based on how they looked in the previous software. So yeah, you can use it to create lookbooks with directors, and the shots that we got came out really close to the previous software. So I highly recommend it. It was a huge help, and I will use it moving forward. The only bummer is that it's all only interior studio lighting. You can't do exteriors in the software. I reached out to him. He said that's on the list of things to add. But as of now, it's only interior and studio lighting. So if you want to try to previs up something outside during the daytime, you can't do that. But yeah, highly recommend. Also, this is a one-time purchase as well, so no subscriptions. I fucking hate subscriptions. Next is Freeform, which is a free app from Apple that's included on all of your devices, Mac, iPhone, iPad. It's basically an infinite canvas tool like Milanote. I like it because it's free. It allows collaboration, so you can invite other people. It's pretty powerful. So there's still room for improvement. Definitely Apple has a lot to, add for it to beat out these other subscription-based infinite canvas programs that a lot of people use for pre-pro. But I love it because I use it in conjunction with Eagle. So I use Frameset. I find references, I store them in Eagle, I tag them. I have this massive folder in Eagle in my database for this project of all my references. I then take these references and drag them into Freeform, and I can organize them based on scene or based on what I'm shooting for that day, like more of a boots on the ground approach to my references. Write down notes, put in links, all sorts of things can be on my Freeform canvas. And that syncs to my phone, my iPad. So whenever I'm on set, I can pull out my phone, or if I have a second, I can grab my iPad, look at all the notes I had, look at references, talk to the director, be like, hey, we have this look up next. Here's some references that we, found. Let's see what we want to do. And it syncs. It's great. So I like Freeform for that reason. I've used it on a couple sets, and people have been like, yo, what is that? And I'm like, it's already on your phone. So highly recommend. The last two are iPhone apps. The first one being Sunseeker. It's an app that tracks the sun. You get a 3D overlay of where the sun's traveling in the sky with your camera and the app, and you get really accurate times for golden hour, sunrise, sunset, dawn, dusk. You can adjust the location. So if I'm in California or in Los Angeles right now and I want to know where the sun's going to be in Austin, Texas, I can put my location in the app to Austin and see where the sun will go. It's powerful for that reason, indispensable to a DP who is shooting with windows and needs to time natural light coming in or exteriors. It's just, you need to have it. There's really no way around it. And lastly, Cadrage, which is a viewfinder app. It allows you to input what camera you're shooting on and your lens kit, and it will give you an accurate view of what your camera and lens would see without actually having to have your camera and lens. So this is great for location scouts where okay, I'm shooting this project on a Sony Burana, or I'm shooting it on a Venice, I'm shooting it on an Arri, I'm shooting it on an FX3, whatever you're shooting it on, it has the camera. It has like every camera you could ever want to shoot on already logged into the app. And if you're shooting on some obscure camera that it doesn't have, which it won't, because it literally has every camera. You can input the sensor dimensions manually and save it as your own preset, and it works just as well. After putting in your camera, you then put in your lens kit, which again, it has pretty much every lens, not just cinema glass. It also has Sony glass, it has Canon glass, pretty much any glass you could want. Every now and then I'll use an obscure lens that it doesn't have logged, but you can again input the specs of that lens and save it as presets, and it works great. So let's say I'm on set and there's a specific portion of the shoot that I don't exactly know where I'm going to put camera or what lens I want. I can pull out my phone with one tap, cycle through my lenses and see exactly what my field of view will be with my camera on my phone, and be like, oh, this is what I want. Tell my AC, hey, I want to throw on the 50 and I want camera right here. It's super easy. It's great. I use it on practically every project because, again, I don't have to sit here and waste 10 minutes going, what does a 25 look like? Oh no, I put the 35. No. Let me put the 12 on. Like, you just have it on your phone. You tap through and quickly find what you want and then make it happen. So yeah, Cadrage. So there you go. That's it. That is 7 tools for DPs to help you on your projects. Hope you found something that you hadn't known about before. I have some cool stuff coming as well. I'm excited to share. Still got probably a couple months before that's out. But that's it for now. Bye.